How am I feeling? And am I dealing with my own shit? Am I just throwing it into a closet and locking the door and thinking that's okay? And I'm going to be okay. I don't have to talk about, being sexually assaulted in my younger years. It's not bothering right now. Of course it is. Of course it's bothering you. There's a version of yourself that it wasn't just the baggage that you locked into that closet. It was a younger version of yourself. A version of yourself who needed somebody to tell them, hey, what you went through, what you experienced, it wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. And I'm here for you. I love you. I accept you. Some of that stuff's been there for years. Like there's a lot of issues that we think, it's been 2 years. It's not bothering me anymore. It's bothering you. And then I get on here and I'm trying to be so real all the time. I'm in the realest way. This is in the realest way. But is it in the realest way? If everything in your life is fake. Welcome back to In the Realest Way Podcast by Marqes Smith, where we talk about so many topics in the realest way. On this podcast episode titled, My Heart is Different Now, I'm going to talk about my family, my friendships, everything that has led me to the person that I am today, and why it's important to not allow your heart to become bitter, to become spiteful. And the world will give you so many reasons why you should be hateful, to be angry. I mean, you look outside your house, sometimes in your house, in your space, when you're scrolling on social media, there's gonna be reasons why you should do something, especially bad. There's always opportunities to do something hurtful to not just yourself, but other people. There's always gonna be those choices, chances to take those. But I implore you to look into your heart and ask yourself, is it really worth it? Is it really worth it to turn your heart bitter, to close yourself off to the limitless possibilities that can come from you allowing your heart to just reach for people? I talked about on my podcast before about my experience with being sexually assaulted, and it took so much out of me holding it in for so many years and not truly understanding the magnitude of what I went through. I just brushed it off like it was just a situation that just happened to people. And quite frankly, it happens to people a little too much. And we can go in depth about how the world is worried about so many things that, shouldn't even be an issue. But we're not talking about the things that really matter. Not enough. The sexual assault and the harassment and not holding people accountable in these positions. Those are the things that we're lacking in. We're lacking in the mental health department. But to stay on topic, okay? I wanted this podcast episode to reflect on the many, many versions of myself and talk about just different relationships that I've been through. I'm going to talk about my mother and how since the very beginning, it's always been somewhat wishy-washy. I always had a, unhealthy relationship with her that was never truly spoken about. And I don't want to really get too much into it, honey, but when you think about family and people that you had no choice of, them being in your life and vice versa, it's important that we don't hold on to, their mistakes in terms of allowing it to dim our light, allowing it to taint our soul. Because regardless of if they feel bad or they regret the decision or action that they took, doesn't change what's going to happen in their life. Some people will hurt you and it's another day for them, right? It's like, girl, on to the next. Who's next? Who am I gonna hurt next? That's what they're thinking. They don't care about the consequence that it's having on you. It's more about how they feel. And we're always running from something. Everybody, at some point in your life, you're running from something. Okay? But you don't realize that while running away from something, you're running towards something else. Wherever you go, there's a direction. You can choose to allow that direction to be something that is healthy, something that is allowing you to become a better person, or you can choose to be bitter. You can run to coping mechanisms that are harmful to your body and to other people. And that goes into the topic of the relationship with my mother. She had a very unhealthy, coping mechanism in regards to herself. And it reflected onto her children. Now, I said, we cannot choose who our family is, but we can choose who we allow in our spaces. And for a long time, I was angry with her about everything in my life. Regardless of how so many people had an opinion about her and so many people had an opinion about a lot of other people in my life, I found, comfort in allowing other people to make decisions for me. And I was a child, right? Somebody tells you that this person is just horrible and terrible and they're just evil. At that age, you tend to believe them. But it's important that we question everything that we do. Now, I'm not saying that everything that they said about her was the truth. I can't speak about people's perception of other people. But one thing I can say is it's important to have a relationship with people that you have an understanding with yourself. Like, you understand this person. You're not just going off of what other people said. Now, sometimes if I'm your friend and I'm saying, hey, I don't really mess with this person like that. They did this, and that. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to keep my distance out of respect. Because if this person is doing something that's harming you, I'm not going to allow that to affect our relationship because I care about it. And that relationship doesn't even have a foundation that can even, compete with this one. But a lot of times I was allowing people to change the way my heart posture was. My heart posture always was changing and swaying. And most of the time it was leaning into a place of anger, bitterness, wanting to hurt other people. Even when I first came into Korea, it wasn't until I realized how much I was harming other people that I decided to make a change in myself, to not be bitter. I came to Korea on a mission. I was like, who am I going to fuck up today? Okay. Who wanted to smoke? I mean, I was letting them have it. I was cussing them out. I was, ready to fight. I was getting into it. And, I just came from basic training in AIT, and that's a whole nother battle. Grown ass people. Just doing the craziest things. And I just had to get into a state of mind to where, like, I was just in a combative mode. I was like, who wants it now? Who wants it now? You want it now? Okay, come on, let's go. That's the mindset I was in. And it didn't make it, any easier that my mindset wasn't good to begin with. So I came to Korea. My heart was bitter. I wanted to just attack almost everybody. I was dealing with separation from my entire life that I knew before. Everything came crashing down. I went to South Korea and I was alone. And it wasn't just, I guess, relationships and, work relationships. It was romantic relationships, harming people there. I just allowed my heart posture to be, bitter. And I implore anybody to look within themselves and ask yourself, how am I feeling? And am I dealing with my own shit? Am I just throwing it into a closet and locking the door and thinking that's okay? And it's, I'm going to be okay. I don't have to talk about, being sexually assaulted in my younger years. It's not bothering right now. Of course it is. Of course it's bothering you. There's a version of yourself that it wasn't just the baggage that you locked into that closet. It was a younger version of yourself. A version of yourself who needed somebody to tell them, hey, what you went through, what you experienced, it wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. And I'm here for you. I love you. I accept you. You're not just throwing baggage away. You're throwing a version of yourself away too. And a lot of the times when we're running from that experience, that trauma, we're trying to run back into a person who we were before that incident happened. I tried so hard to become the person I was before, but I will never be that person again, nor do I want to. I truly believe that you're going to suffer in life. And I've said it before. I wish the suffering that we went through wasn't based on life or death. Our food being contaminated and people getting, bombed every single day or murdered, being raped and sexually assaulted. I wish that wasn't the suffering that we had to go through. I wish the suffering was our car not starting in the morning. I wish the suffering was us not studying for a test and failing that test because we didn't study. I wish that was the suffering that we had to go through, but it's not. And as we go through life and our heart posture change, it will be so hard for it not to. I mean, we look on social media and we see so much pain, but we must remain hopeful. We must keep the people's lives, the people who are suffering. We have to keep them alive. We have to. I don't want. Now, understand that these emotions are important. When you're angry, it's okay to be angry, right? So we try so hard to not allow these emotions to overcome us that we don't allow them to just be. You're trying so hard not to be angry. Now you're bottling these emotions in. You're like a ticking bomb ready to explode, and you will explode. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be angry and let your anger just be that. I'm angry right now. Hey, I'm angry right now. I'll be good in a couple hours or, a day or two. I'm angry right now. That's okay. Oh, I'm sad right now. It is valid emotions. Now, it's how we deal with these emotions that's important. Some people need a little time to themselves. Some people need to work out. Some people just want to watch TV, right? What are you doing to cope with the stress, with the, life's suffering? What are you doing for that? What? My heart is different now. I don't hate. I used to say I hated people. Oh, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I don't hate you. Now, I'm not going to ask you to be back in my life. Our chapter is closed, but I don't hate you. My heart is different now. There's been so many people who have done me wrong, and I've done people wrong as well. I don't wish them any suffering. I wish you the best life. I look back at relationships I had in high school. I think about them sometimes. Oh, I hope they're doing okay. I hope that worked out for them. We may never speak again. I may never see those people again. But I wish them the best. And I'll continue to. No longer will my heart posture be affected by other people's decisions and how they think I should live my life. Or nor will I let my emotions become so much of a decision for me that I can't live my life. We make a lot of decisions out of emotions. And it's not just the ones that we call negative, like sadness and anger. Joy. Every emotion is valid. Go watch Inside Out. Okay? Go watch it out. Now, I ain't gonna say too much about the production, I guess, or the company, but it's crazy. But I don't want to get on to that, honey. I don't want to talk about these corporations and what they're funding and what they're supporting. But Inside Out 2 was just a clear definition of how joy can be the villain too sometimes. It's not just about, am I looking at the camera? I'm looking right here. I think I'm supposed to be looking right here. I did it like numerous times. Anyways, joy can be the villain sometimes. It's not always sadness or anger, anxiety, Sometimes joy is the problem. When you happy, you be saying yes to anything. Oh, yes. Oh, of course. Sometimes you gotta just wait. Think about it later on. Because I promise you, that decision is gonna change. It's gonna change. My heart is different now. I don't know. Just go through life. I'm going through life right now. I'm dealing with so many things, but it's all worth it. It's all worth it. I know when I look back at this, I'm going to be like, I'm glad you did it. I'm glad I'm sitting on this floor. I ain't got no furniture in this house yet. Okay? A lot of people are like, Smith, you need to have this, you need to have that. Again, the same example in terms of like using an example of people coming into my life telling me how I should do certain things. They don't even know the half of it, right? I wish it was that easy. I wish I could just get furniture. I wish I could just do that. It's not that easy, right? A lot of things have to be accounted for, and it's important that we understand the decisions that we're making in our life, because nobody's going to be pointing the finger at them when the curtain is on you and the spotlight is on you and you're answering for your mistakes. It's not going to be them. It's going to be you. So when we make decisions, make the decisions that are best for you, because at the end of the day, you know what's best. There's always going to be somebody telling you what you should do. Always. Family, friends, people on social media. There's always going to be somebody trying to tell you how to live your life. Ignore them. Continue on. Take advice sometimes, right? There's people who genuinely want to help you. Be willing to open your heart up to listening to their perspective, but don't allow them to control your life. Okay? I don't know how long this podcast episode is, but I think it was a decent podcast episode. I'm just so grateful. I'm thankful for all of the blessings, all of the experiences I've gotten and learned. My eyes are heavy. But I'm just really, really grateful. Stay tuned for a lot more out of me. I'm going to be going somewhere. I'm not going to say where, because I learned that if you're trying to do something, and I'm trying to, that's all I'm saying is I'm starting my own business. And I'm not going to put out there all of my, things that are going on in my mind, right? I'm manifesting these things. I'm, of course, physically working on them, but I'm manifesting them. And I'm not going to allow people to just, hear what I'm doing and then try their best to stop it, because that's what people do. Just when you're doing something, show them the I guess consequence or the effect of it, if that makes sense. Oh, I'm starting a business. I'm just gonna, hint at it so that you can be, watching, right? But I'm only gonna show when the business is dropped. Okay? I'm not gonna sit here and tell you the name of my brand, what I'm doing. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you every detail. I'm just not, because I'd rather just show you rather than just tell you, right? Actions speak louder than words, and you're going to see it, and you're going to be like, well, he said he was going to do it, and I did it. Okay. But like I say at the end of every podcast episode, I give thanks to the utmost, to the highest power, God. I'm thankful for my friends and my family. I am truly, truly grateful. This is NTheRealestWay Podcast. Out. Some people, I know you're not a hillbilly. I know you're not a hillbilly.